Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at some triplet variations. We're going to be working from the notation. I'm not going to use syllables for this lesson. So let's just crack straight on in and look at the first example. So you can see we're not using any accents at the moment. It's just 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 3 1 3 1 3, just with a pure open tone. Let's look at the second example. So you can see we're keeping this basic triplet level, but we're just merely adding open bass notes where they fall on the first finger at various parts of the one bar of triplets. Let's move on to the next example. So we can see that even adding a little bit of movement with the open tone immediately creates quite an interesting sort of groove, and we haven't even put any accents in yet. So let's swiftly move on to the next example. So it kind of sounds a little bit flat without putting the accents in, but the important thing is that we're getting the idea of being able to bring the bass tone in to different places in the bar of triplets. So let's look at the next example. So take your time with some of these examples. Make sure you get the clarity of the notes, and if you need to set your own metronome at a slower tempo to work through these examples, then that's cool. This is set at 90 BPM. Let's look at the next example. So we can see that example has kind of like a 4-beat pattern going through the 12 notes of the bar of triplets. Taka-dimmy, taka-dimmy, taka. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1. So let's move on to the next example, where we'll start to add some gaps into the equation. So you can see when these start to get sped up, they become quite recognizable as things you might hear a Kanjira player playing. So let's move on to the next example. Now this example involves a slightly different fingering. Up to now it's all been consecutive 1 3 1 3 1 3 for all of the notes. Now we're going to have a slightly different feel to the pattern. We've still not got any accents in there yet, but we've got a slightly different feel to the pattern. And then we've got the tempo here. Dum, da dum, takita dum dum da 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 dum. They're the syllables, and we've got 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 1 3. Now with the metronome. Now let's move on to the next example. And now extending that idea a little bit further. Now we can start to add in a few accents. So we can see again we're just 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 3 through everything, and we've got those nice clear accents. Kind of like a backbeat. Going to make sure you get those two open notes. The second one's got a sound. So spend a little bit of time and make sure all those notes are perfectly clear within the patterns that you're playing. Let's move on to the next example. 3 4. Actually, although they're consecutive accents, it's very, very hard to pull that off, to get that really clear. One of the masters of doing consecutive accents like that is the great Selva Ganesh, who's particularly his triplet patterns are really so clear, and yet the accents come out in such a powerful way. So do check out Selva Ganesh's playing, and do take time to have a look at my book, which is on Hudson Music. There's a lot more examples. You know, this is just scratching the surface really. So let's move on to the next example. So we can feel some of these triplet patterns have got a really cool lilt to them, a really cool feel. You've got to get everything clear. The bass tone nice and open. The accents really sharp. Just think of it like kick drum and snare drum and hi-hat, you know, in a way. Let's move on to the next example. So we can see this is really mimicking a kind of drum set pattern that you'd hear with a backbeat. So you've got to get everything really clear to make these patterns really sing. So a similar approach for the next example. Again, a really cool drum set mimicking type of pattern. Again, all 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3. Nothing complicated in there in terms of fingering. So this next example again is the 4 going through the 12, 4, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Takadimi, takadimi, takadimi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, going through takita, 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 tak. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, going through the through the triplets. Now the bass pattern in this next example emphasizes the 4, and the accents just throw a couple of there's 2 accents in there, and they throw a little bit of a swerve ball into the overall feel of that and kind of complement it with a second voice. So let's look at that example. So again, really cool pattern. 2, 3, 4. So next up, a more straightforward pattern with a few gaps. And then a similar pattern with the next example. So do spend some time with these triplet patterns. They're really cool. They work well, you know, up tempo, a little bit faster. As I say, Selva Ganesh is the master of a lot of these triplet patterns. Really cool. So I'll see you next time. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and buy yourself a shaker. Tom.